Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, 5011 fam.
Awesome.
Yes.
Everybody
Ooh, a
say
good deep
together.
breath.
Awesome.
Yes. La la
Nam yo
la
nam
la
yo
la
nam
la
nam
la
yo.
la la. Y'all, we are back, Jay and Dee Dee, with another episode of the
Yes.
5011 Chronicles, doing what we do, having conversations that spark conversation. Y'all, let me just say, the celestial bodies, the spirit, the enemy, everybody been working. Everybody been moving.
Everybody
A
work.
lot has been going on.
Oh,
And we are going to key because there's so much going on. But we're going to have a chat about these retrogrades. We're also going to have an extended For the Culture, y'all. So y'all tune in. We thank you so much for tuning in to the 5011 Chronicles. Girl, let me tell you, I got to resituate myself.
come on with the resituation.
Because when I tell you, I have been getting mollywopped through and through for the
I've been in the
past
ice.
week, 2 weeks, month, since the year started. And being in a season where we're getting hit with two retrogrades, again, because this also happened last year, but being in a season where we get hit with two retrogrades, you start feeling crazy. Like, it really be gaslighting you because you be thinking it's you. Like, what have I done? And to have the weeks that we've had, like, it's tough. Like, I'm not even going to put on the front like everything's
It's
great.
more than tough.
It's more than tough. We've been
It is
kikiing for a while.
emotionally exhausting.
Before even recording this episode, we've been kikiing and we've just been like having to let go of the
Yes, we
week
had to get
and
it out.
having to release and having to talk about what's going on also in the spirit, like in the natural, but also in the spirit. And y'all, like, I know that we're not the only ones who are hyper aware of the need to feel your feelings right now. Like,
Yeah.
we are in a season of feel your feelings, get to the root of them, figure out what's going on with you, and fix what you can, and be
Which
aware
is
of what
so
you can.
funny that like we both at the same, because it was like I said it, I was like, man, I just wanted to be upset, and then you were like, yes, I've been feeling like we both literally went through the same emotional thing.
Like, it has been, I think, especially, I will say especially for Black millennials, because we can only really speak from that perspective, but I know it's not just us, because I know that there are other people, at least in the South, and I know for women, this is also true, but and even for men, no, but I feel like for virtually every person,
Yeah.
the way that we're raised, you're kind of taught to not allow yourself to feel your feelings too long, too hard, too seriously, like, and to like kind of tuck things in, repress them, suppress
Yeah.
them, push them down, push them back so that you can keep going forward. And the reality of when we do that is even if you push it down and you push it back, it's still within you and it's still on your back. You still have that luggage. You still have that weight and you're just going to
Yes.
carry it with you. Like
Yes.
in this book, which I always rave about how much I love Jennifer Lewis, but in her first memoir that she wrote, The Mother of Black Hollywood, she says something her therapist told her. And her therapist told her, she said, Jennifer, you know, you carry yourself with you wherever you go. That means you carry your stuff with you too. And I think we've talked about it before when we went through another Mercury retrograde, and we've done it, but I think it's always good to have a quick refresher about what retrograde means because it's such a buzzword. It's really clickbaity most of the time when people are talking about it because people who don't actually study not just the celestial bodies, but who don't actually study spiritually how they affect us. Because for my Christians out there who are like, I don't do no horoscope, that's the work of the devil. God
We
created
not
the
talking
planets.
about that.
We're not talking about that. In your book, we know that God created the planets. We know that everything that God created was good. You're not going to tell me that these planets were created just so we could look at them through a
He
telescope.
just threw some rocks out there.
You're not going to tell me that.
These rocks
You're
out
not going to tell me that they have
We're
no
not
impact.
rotating intentionally
Come
the
on
way that
now.
we are. I'm just gonna spin them. Just spin them around.
No, like every action, everything is methodical. It is
like God
so
just playing marbles.
like it's not random. It's not random. It is orchestrated. It is drawn out. It is designed. You can't tell me
And
it's
we're
not.
connected to literally
Everything. Everything is
everything.
connected. Every single thing is connected. And so when there are certain shifts in how those celestial bodies that are in connection and in alignment with our planet, as they shift and move differently, it
And they
does
carry
affect us.
energy.
They carry
Scientific fact.
energy. So it affects us. It has no choice but to affect us.
Yes.
And we are in the midst of two of, I'm not going to call them rare retrogrades, but they're the ones that are not as common as like
They're doing it a lot. I
Mercury.
know that.
You know, Mercury go in retrograde sometimes 3-4 times a year. She always be trying
Yeah.
to
She
find
loved
her way
getting her
back.
micro braids done, child.
Look, always trying to find her way home. She never has the GPS on. She's always taking the
Ever.
wrong steps. Like we always end
Get
up,
out of here.
and she is most commonly felt and most easily understood. It's so
Mhm.
easy to understand.
Especially with us being
Mercury,
in the age of technology, that's where most people
most
feel
people
it.
see it. Your phone glitches, your Wi-Fi won't
Mm-hmm.
get right, your TV cuts up, your computer is got a mind of its own. That's what show, or you notice it in how people talk to each other. Like it's
But they
the
already
planet of
can't
communication.
communicate, so
They
I
already
don't
can't
listen.
communicate, and it's kind of sad. Like it's kind of sad.
It'd be like, oh, another Tuesday?
Right.
Still
Oh,
can't
Becky's just being
communicate? Got
Becky.
it.
But it's when you have a better understanding of what these things mean on a metaphysical level, call it esoteric, call it spiritual, call it whatever you want to, because we
Call
are
it
firm
physics
believers.
if you need to.
Like D and I are, and we've said it before, we're firm believers that science and spirituality are connected. There's a divine
The
connection.
quantum physicist will tell you that
You can't
science and
have,
spirituality are
there is an
connected.
explanation for each on every side of things.
Scientists haven't even been able to deny it
They
anymore. They
can't.
have had to accept it and research it and just call it
They
something
don't
else.
understand it, but they can't deny
Yes.
it. That's and
Yes.
that's why they've spent so much time trying to discredit it, is because they can't understand it. It's so
Mhm.
abstract. Like science is something that's measurable. It's quantifiable. I know how much water is in this beaker. I know how
Right.
many molecules create this compound. Like they are so measurable, so quantitative. But when you get into the difference between astronomy, the science, and astrology, the spirit, then you begin to see, oh, they're saying the same thing, just differently, through different lenses, through different mouthpieces. So having understanding that there is a retrograde, two retrogrades going on right now, it's important that we understand the planets. And even as this pod, when this episode releases, I think we'll have been in these retrogrades for like, I think one came like on a
Too
Saturday and the
long.
other came on like a Tuesday. So it'll be about a month that these things have, almost a month, but these both run long. So let's talk about them. You got Neptune and you got Pluto. Now, I know everybody say Pluto ain't a planet. That's not even important right now. It's
Don't do her like that.
they don't even let Pluto live her
Let
best
her
life.
be.
Let her
Period.
live her best life. But I'm gonna read something from this book I have on the planets. I'm gonna just read some hot points because I think it's important that we all understand what's going on. Because as Dee and I talked about it, and I read the same excerpt, we both were seeing in our own lives like, oh wow, that's the
Mhm.
Mollywop. That's the one too that I've been getting for the past week and a half. That's where it came from. So Neptune is the planet of dreams and fantasy. And when this planet turns inward, our spiritual life becomes significantly impacted. You start noticing things are like astonishingly rich, incredibly colorful. It really deepens and widens your spirit walk. It's a wonderful phase for deep contemplation. So for those people who love sitting quietly or who don't normally do it and find themselves doing it right now, that's why. You find yourself uninterested in most of what's going on. Dee and I were both saying this, like I have a hard time finding what to watch.
I can't even figure out what to eat.
Don't know what to eat. Don't know where to go. Don't know if I
That is
really
how
want to be there.
uninterested I am.
Like it's
Nothing has
all of the
satisfied me.
things. All of the things. But because this is also the planet of dreams, we start to notice dreams kind of being therapeutic in a sense. Now that does not mean that they're going to be the most peaceful dreams you ever had. That's not what we're saying. They're therapeutic in the sense that you'll notice things or you'll feel things in your dreams that you're maybe not used to often. Art and music, they offer beneficial rehabilitation into our psyche because our psyche is on a tremendous journey right now, especially those of us that are spiritually attuned. Fantasy life is increased, but addictions and escapism, they kind of get a little excessive. You start noticing that you do things in an excessive amount. Same,
Escapism
same.
going on over
You know,
here.
and it's because we're attempting to escape from what it is we're feeling. Like, and that's why Dee and I were really harping on the fact, feel your feelings right now. Not
But
saying go out and unalive anybody. Not saying go out and
YouTube would have been
unalive.
like, damn, damn, damn.
Done. But not saying go out and unalive anybody. Not saying go out and just go off on everybody. But feel
But
what you're
ask
feeling.
yourself why.
Why? Why am I feeling this? What triggered me?
Dive into it.
Like this is the time to really dive inward. You'll notice that boundaries are blurred and self-sabotage is heightened. So again, excessive use of escapism and addictions, the boundaries are blurred. Watch out with your situationships right here, people. This is the
Oh
time to be
God.
aware. This is the time to be aware. Self-sabotage is heightened.
Stay at
Watch out
home,
with,
kids.
watch out with the situationships, people. Paranoia is like, it increases, as does anxiety. Watch out with your situationships, people. Watch out with every aspect of your life, because you'll be wondering why you're feeling crazy, and you're not crazy. It is a shift spiritually that is going to last for a little bit. Like, this is going to last for a little while. Meditation, yoga, journaling. Those three will really help during the transition of this period. And
Get a journal by the river.
I've been
Yay.
like really turning inward and doing different forms of meditation. So
Mhm.
I was reading this book, side note, I was reading this book, and it was really talking about how there are different ways to approach self-care. And there's a chapter on meditation, and we're all so familiar with the Om, legs crossed, sitting down meditation. And yes, that is a proper meditation, and Om is specific. Do your research. So there are things like mudras, ways in which you can use your hands to communicate essentially to the spirit what it is you're trying to achieve within the natural. But everything's not like, for those of us who are neurospicy or on the spectrum somewhere, sitting still and being quiet and turning
Yeah.
inward is not our thing.
My trail walks, those have been very,
Walking
very, like, I
meditation.
literally put my music on, I walk in the nature, and and if thoughts come to my mind, I let them come in and I let them go, and I just get into the music and all that. Like,
That is a good one.
it's
One of
so
the
nice.
things that I've been doing is food meditation, which is one of the ones that we don't hear people talk a whole lot about. But as someone who loves to cook,
Now,
like,
don't be on my 600-pound life frame.
no, I'm not, mine's not.
I feel
And
like that's how it starts.
there is an eating meditation that is a food meditation. The one that I do is more of like the therapeutic cooking process. So it's
Yeah.
getting all of my ingredients out. It's preparing my mise en place, cutting everything, dicing everything how it needs to be, getting it into its own little cup so that everything is like perfectly
I've always
organized,
wanted to do that, like
measuring
pre-cut your
everything out.
seasonings and stuff. I've
It's
always
called a
wanted to
mise en
do that.
place. It's super easy, and it actually prepares you to do your dish. So if you take 15 minutes to mise en place, then when you get started, everything's already like
I do it the good
portioned
old black
and
way.
ready. Right. Now, when it comes,
Just
I
take
don't
it
do it
over
with
fast.
seasonings. I don't do it with seasonings. We let the ancestors speak when it comes to the seasoning.
Okay.
But when it comes to like dicing, like if I know I'm going to use onion and jalapeno and I'm going to do a
Yeah.
tomato and I'm going to do whatever, I'm going to go ahead and prepare all of my ingredients so that when I get to that portion, it's just a dumping or it's just a mixing or whatever. But there's so many other things that you can do besides sitting still. Like
Yeah.
there's meditations where you do, like, it's almost like an observation, like a watching meditation, where you sit in a space and you find yourself like a something to look at. It might be a tree across from your house or whatever, and you look at it, and you might have yourself look at this tree for a solid minute. You just look in this area, you notice everything in the frame for about a minute, and you look away. You might look away for a minute or five, then you look back. And when you look back for that next minute or two, you look for what you didn't notice the first time. What are the new things that you didn't notice about the
I
tree,
got
about the
I got
bark?
ADHD. I'm gonna look
It's
away
so,
and
and that's,
blink,
I'm
and
like,
I'll
for
look back.
us neurospicy people, typically we
Yeah, I
need
was like,
something,
oh, I gotta go look back at the tree, child.
us neurospicy people typically need something more physical that gets our body involved,
Yeah.
like a walking
Yeah, that works for
meditation,
me.
or for
And I
me,
love
like cooking. It's
cycling.
like, those types of things get our body involved, so that way it helps limit our distractions. Those of us who are fortunate enough to not be on that spicy scale, there's so many things out there to try. Like, even
Yeah.
with eating meditation, it's noticing flavors, it's tasting textures, it's focusing on those things as you eat and really enjoying it. It's not overeating. That is never the goal. It's normal portion size and normal meal, but it's like, as I'm eating this, what can I notice every bite? Like if I'm eating a steak or whatever, take that first bite, I might notice the texture. Take that second bite, I might notice the temperature. I might notice the spices. I might know. So it's like allowing yourself the time to
To be present.
slow that exactly, be present, and to slow that conscious mind. It's always go, 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 go. Slow it
Mm-hmm.
down. That's necessary during the season, because you are facilitating almost like a new dream era for yourself. You're getting yourself ready for these new dreams, for this new, what's going to be on the other side of this retrograde, this new approach to fantasy and to dreams. Love that for us.
You
It's
know
not
what
going
I
to be,
love too?
what's that?
I love that, like, even though I had no idea about the retrogrades until you told me today, I still instinctively was like doing things to
The
make
things.
sure that I was okay. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, I still was acting, it was like my spirit was still moving me to do things so that we'd be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we still, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, I don't know if y'all ever seen the rafting Olympics where they be like this is that's what we do. And we in the
Yeah.
rafting
Yes.
Olympics. Like,
Yes.
we still going, but
Mm-hmm.
we swimming hard, child.
Yes. No, absolutely. Like, I feel that. I also feel that, like, because you and I, and we know this about each other, but we've spent so much time doing the self work and
Yeah.
taking care of both, like, that conscious light self as well as that shadow self, doing the work to really become fully aware of what type of people we are and what type of people we desire to
Mm.
be, that because we know ourselves at the level that we do now, when we find ourselves in a retrograde, in a spiral, in a season of drought, our instant reaction is, how do I flip this
Yeah.
reality? But how do I flip it? Maybe not in the physical, but at least in the spiritual and the mental. We start doing those things that we know are going to help bring our spirit back, and then bring our mind back, and get ourselves back into at least a functioning space to deal with what's in front of us.
Yeah. Because
Um,
90% of all this life stuff is mental. And that
Big
be the problem.
facts. Big facts. And yeah,
Because why they give me
fear,
this mental? They
fear
gave me
is
the
the worst
craziest
disease most
mental they
people
could
deal
give
with.
me. Why,
Come on now.
why they give me this brain? And they know 90% of this is mental. Why did they give me this brain? It
It
don't even turn off.
Mysteries. Mysteries, mysteries, mysteries. Now the other planet that is in retrograde now is Pluto, and Pluto is one of the more rare type of retrogrades. It might happen once a year or once every couple of years. We don't see Pluto often go into retrograde, and when she does, she typically tends to be, Pluto's considered the planet of transformation. So she typically tends to change people. Like, people tend to go through a change when Pluto is in retrograde. So listen to this. When Pluto shifts, it intensifies and deepens whatever house or planet it is activating in our chart. It helps us evolve and excavate. We discover our true motives and what's really holding us back. It reveals our shadow side, and our worst selves emerge. I have a smart mouth and sometimes a short fuse. And I found myself, like, I told someone at work, if so and so does not leave me alone, there's a chance I will snap their neck. Now, that's not a normal reaction for me when someone is bothering me. I usually just read them down. But today I was like, I might
You
snap
can
so and
get.
so's neck. Like, that is, we're reaching that
Today's the
point.
day.
Get your friend, or they will have no neck. I will send them home without a
That's
neck
right.
today, or with half of one. And our worst selves emerge. That is really what happens. But what's also great is that as Pluto goes back direct, which is, it's direct
Mhm.
versus retrograde. But as Pluto goes back direct, um, even from this lengthy retrograde, we begin to notice that we are not the same people we were before. Major psychological transition happens after a Pluto retrograde because of what we experience in it. And this is a really great time to think about what you want that next chapter of your life to look like. This is a great time to think about what it is that motivates you, what actually motivates you. Like, at the core, what is pushing me? What is my why? Um, and think about, am I on track for what it is I hope to accomplish? Not talking about, I want to be a millionaire and right now there's only $15 in my account. But no, it's talking about being here, you're fulfilling your purpose while you're here.
Yeah.
Knowing your purpose, first of all, and then two, making sure you're in alignment. Because one thing that I learned, and then I'm going to get off my soapbox, because y'all, I could talk about this type of thing all day, hours and hours.
I
Um,
could do this for hours.
Period. My mind instantly went to money long. So what I know to be true is that there are specific things that we are here to do, each of us.
And we
And
all have a
sometimes
gift.
we all have a gift, and that sometimes is day by day. There's something specific you're supposed to do for so and so that day that is part of your
Mm-hmm.
purpose. I also believe that because there's this larger overarching purpose to our lives, that there's an opportunity almost every day to fulfill an aspect of that purpose. Now, for me, I had a conversation with a spiritualist who shared with me that part of my purpose is to help elevate people's standards of themselves. Not necessarily to my standard, but to help them elevate what their own personal standard is. And ever since I've known that to be true, because at first I was like, what's she talking about? But then I began to really
You
reflect
did it for
deeply.
me.
And thank you. Thank you. But as I began to reflect
I'm
deeply,
proud of you.
I think that I thought it was one thing. Like when someone tells you your job is to help raise people's standard, I began thinking lofty big things like, oh, I'm bringing about the next president, the next CEO. And that might still be
No, just the
true.
next Dee who not slapping people and cussing them.
But it's as simple as being there for people and just showing them a different way sometimes,
That's
or
literally,
sharing perspective, or
yes.
just being a sounding board. Sometimes that is what people need that maybe they didn't have before, or they didn't have it that looked
Literally
like.
you being you. Like, that's
Thank
just
you.
you.
Stop. Oh my God, stop it.
No,
Stop.
that is you though. Like, that's just your personality. Like, I don't think you intentionally tried to, that's just who you
And
are.
I did not know it until she said it, and I began to reflect. And even Aisha was there with me when this happened. But I began to reflect, and I'm like, wow, I've been doing that, and I did not realize it. But I look for an opportunity every day, and I don't even look for them. If an opportunity presents itself, especially every day, I try and do that. Offer
Yeah.
somebody maybe any wisdom that I have to give, I will offer it. If they want it, I will offer it. Like
Yeah.
I give wisdom for the free. I don't charge, and I could. I done seen things. I
Okay.
could charge for the wisdoms. But I look at it as when these things happen, when we have retrogrades, when we have an understanding of even when and where we were born and how we were born and what the sky was looking like then. When we have that understanding, it's not that it's going to give you a play by play on who you are as a person. It's not going to give you a play by play on how your life is about to run. And it's not going to tell you exactly when you need to take your laundry out of the dryer. That's not what the horoscope and astrology thing is really designed to do. Now, some people use it like that. To each their own. That's your business. That's between you and your God. But as for me in my house,
No.
me and my home, the way that it works for me is that sometimes the mirror has to be reflected to me because a lot of us tend to get into main character syndrome and only see life through
Mhm.
like with the blinders on. And
Mhm.
sometimes seeing someone throw back at you even your weaknesses, your worst traits, and being fully aware of that, it helps you show up differently. It helps you know that my default, like for me, my default, especially when I find myself in a season or in a moment of insecurity or a moment of feeling threatened, my tongue gets incredibly sharp. That's where I go. I go straight to let me read you down and get you to back up off of me. I'm gonna put that all right now. Like, and for me, it's bark as loud as I can so that I don't have to bite. I will bite you, but I don't want to bite you. I'm going to bark to back you up. And sometimes when I bark, because I'm so quick witted, sometimes I hit below the belt. So I find
Same.
myself doing a quick pivot and keeping myself from hurting somebody's feelings while at the same time still allowing myself to feel my feelings. If they come back to me, hey, I'm upset with you and I don't have anything kind to say to you right now. So if I were you, I would pivot and go find myself something safe to do. That
Mhm.
to me is a better response than I'm going to snap your neck. So I think that is a healthy way to use some of the information we learn through the astrologicals as we continue to learn how these celestial bodies move and what those things mean. And even as they continue to explore and understand dark matter, because they feel like they get into the closeness of understanding something. But it's like, even for us on a spiritual sense, just knowing the more information you know, the better you can approach a situation. So
Facts.
this has been Jay's horoscope corner. Thank y'all for for tuning in.
And you said a word.
Come on now. Sermons can look all types of ways.
I know that's
So
right.
we're about to get into our extended for the culture now. I haven't seen it yet, but Dee was telling me a little bit about this new Tyler Perry movie, and that's Divorce in the Black, right?
I think so.
I think it's called Divorce in the Black. I feel like that's what it's called. I know it's Megan Good and Tia's ex-husband, Corey.
Yes, Corey.
Hardwick,
Hardrick.
something like that
Because
though.
It's Omari Hardwick and
Hardwick.
Corey Hardrick.
Hedrick.
Corey
Corey H. That's my best friend. That's my best friend. Go best friend. Like literally.
We're gonna leave it there.
Corey. Mm-hmm.
So y'all, I have been seeing everybody on the Twitter, everybody was on Facebook, Instagram. Everybody has been talking about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has been talking about how it's so bad you can't look away. It's so bad it's funny. Like, and so Brittany watched it first. She said the same thing that everybody else said. And then, so she had me today. She just wanted to show me what the opening scene was because it was so outrageous.
Mm-hmm. And
once I saw that train wreck, I was like, it's one of the things where it's like I have to see what is going on and why is the people upset. So I watched it. It took me a little time to get through it, but I watched it. Y'all, first of all, Tyler, shout out to you for your studio. A Black person owning a studio, producing their own things, directing. Here's what I want to take off your plate. Writing.
The writing.
Let's take some duties off of your plate. Be studio producer, director, great. Casting director, if you want to do that, fine. But let's take writing off your plate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how about we do that? How about we give some other people something else to say?
Period.
Literally anything else to say. I don't even care what it is. I just want it to be something that you ain't been giving us for 20 years. Give me somebody with something else to say. I am sick of this. This movie was basically mea culpa, except for she wasn't a lawyer. She worked at the bank. And the husband was like, his family was like hood, and they used to terrorize their little small town. And she was like the church girl who married the hood boy. That's of course she was. Of course and she was getting knocked upside the head and spit on by the hood boy. But mind you, we don't see anything. They're just giving us a bunch of information. The movie, it's so crazy. Like the way they did the movie is like, we're in whatever present day era they're in. But it's like, instead of taking us on the journey, they're just like throwing out this information to try to tie everything together in the scene that we in. Like it was one scene where it's like in the beginning, he's like in the bathroom and it was like, because so basically the opening scene was a funeral, right? Mm-hmm. The funeral, the pastor starts reading down the son that died and the family because he died from like violence. Like you was out here in these streets. That's why you're not here no more. And so the pastor, he called out the family. Like he was laying it out there telling the truth. And I was agreeing with everything he was saying. Because I was like, hey, you got a point. Y'all up in here now, but y'all been terrorizing the town. Like, but y'all want a good, nice funeral and him to go to heaven. And the pastor basically was like, he's not going to be
going. You won't see him there.
But what took it to the extreme, so like the mom get up, she mad. She like, because at some point the pastor says, he's like, oh, the only reason why we even pay for this funeral is because your son is married to my daughter. Which, pastor, you ain't have to say that. But that set the mama up. And then the mama, I guess the pastor's wife had let her borrow clothes. Child, the mama started taking the clothes off and threw them at her. And then she started talking about, take him out. Child, they take the son out the casket and leave out the funeral with the son, throw him in the back of the truck, and then bury him in the front yard.
I saw so many tweets about the opening scene, and I had no idea what was what it could have been. That was not on the bingo card at all. That I couldn't have guessed that. I have to watch it now. I have to watch it now.
Didn't even make sense. Now, if and the crazy thing is, if this was supposed to be like a comedy, like Death at a Funeral, that would have been a great scene.
Mm-hmm.
But you for real, like you this supposed to be like you made this like a serious drama, and you for real, like you was like, this
Bless
gonna
him,
get him.
Lord.
Like
Bless him,
this
Lord.
gonna bring him in. And Brittany was saying she seen an interview, and he was basically saying like he was excited to see people's reaction to the first scene. My reaction is, what the hell is going on? What are we doing? And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like it's literally like a car crash. Like you just keep watching because you're like, what is going, like what? You're just in shock. Like what is going on? And it was all these moments of like, I feel like the movie was like a series of moments where it was like everything's supposed to be like this big moment, but y'all aren't tying the moments together. They're not making sense. Like it wasn't adding up.
No
They
good
was
transitions.
putting information in there that they weren't really explaining. Like it was just they was giving us random information. Like we don't know what to do with it. We don't know why it's being given to us. Like he just randomly after the funeral go to the bar. He cutting up and stuff. He drunk, cutting up. He cussing her out, going off on her, treating her like trash. Like he talked to her completely disrespectful. Like he was a rude asshole the entire time. Not once in the movie was he not an asshole. That's why I'm like, I don't even, what is going on? What is happening here?
Yeah,
And
I
of
might
course, we
have
got
to.
the little church
I
girl
had no plans of watching this
who
movie.
is and it's crazy because here's what made me mad. I'm tired of this same narrative.
Yeah.
Because it's the little church girl, and then of course it's the hometown, the other guy who would have been the other love, and then she runs into him when she goes back home, and
of course
now she's not in this marriage anymore.
It's a tired story, it sounds like.
We've done this for 20 years with
so
you,
many,
Tyler.
Yeah, so
we
many
keep
times.
doing this. And my thing is like, I wish you would stop writing scripts from the perspective of a black woman because you're not a black woman. You're not a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you think you're doing us a favor, but if you want to do black women a favor, get black women in the writing room. Let them write the story. Pick up some scripts from some black writers.
You know what?
Do those.
You know what? I wonder what a project that was written by maybe an Issa Rae or a Robin Thede, but directed by Tyler Perry would look like.
Better, because when he does, like you said, when he does stuff for Oprah and Lee Daniels, it'd be so much better.
So much
Somebody
better.
else is involved.
Exactly. I really wonder what that would look
Tyler
like.
Perry thing. Better is what it would look like.
I would really love
because
to see that,
him by
especially
himself,
with Issa.
No. And it's like, I understand his whole thing of like, the women that he saw growing up. But baby, we're not
there
like,
anymore.
No. Megan Good's character was supposed to be 37, which made her a millennial. Baby, she's not the women that you grew. She's not your aunties.
She's not.
I need you to go to therapy, let that hurt go, and write something else. I'm
sick
of it.
And move on.
I'm tired of it. Please move on.
He should be, and we've said it so many times before, but he should be using his platform and his resources to put on the next age of black writers. Like, we should be having the next big deals coming out of Tyler Perry Studios, yes. The next Issa Rae's and the next Spike Lee's, and all of them should be coming out of Tyler Perry Studios. And
but what are
the only thing coming out of Tyler Perry Studios is garbage films.
Tubi movies.
Tubi movies.
That's what we keep getting. It's Tubi movies.
Barely Tubi. Like,
you just have more of a budget than the people on Tubi.
That's it.
It's literally Tubi with a budget.
Tubi with a budget.
Like, and he ain't really doing what he could be doing with that budget. Because what are you doing? I don't understand it. And it's so funny. Because remember, I didn't even know Mia Coppola was a Tyler Perry movie until you told me after I had already seen it. And I said, well, that's why the damn story didn't make no damn sense. Because he wrote it.
See, I wasn't going to watch Divorce in the Black, but I'm going to watch it just for that opening scene. I have to see that. That's probably hilarious.
Scene, it was funny. I'm not gonna lie, it was funny, and I don't even know if it was supposed to be that.
Probably
that
whole
movie was funny to me, and it wasn't even. That was an unintentional comedy. If you want to write comedies now, Tyler, do it that way. Because the other comedy, I'm sorry, they don't be funny. I'm sorry, but
I'm gonna have to give it a try.
that movie was funny, and I don't think it was supposed to be.
Speaking of movies that to me are hilarious and timeless, um, and we're definitely not talking about Tyler Perry anymore, obviously.
No, we don't need it
The Devil Wears
because
Prada. I was a huge, I still
I was
am.
a super fan. I still watch that movie. I
Loved it. I will
have
watch it
that
any,
movie.
me too. I have it on DVD. I will watch that movie any day of the week. I love it so much.
Yes.
Um, Something that I'm really excited about is The Devil Wears Prada is becoming a musical and about to get ready for the whole Broadway treatment. And the star, the new Miranda Priestley, which was the character played by Meryl Streep for people who don't know, it's going to be Vanessa Williams.
I loved her in Ugly Betty, so
I
I think she's gonna eat.
loved her in Ugly Betty. Wilhelmina? What?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm like. She's gonna eat this.
She's
Like
going
she's
to
gonna
eat it.
eat
She's going to eat
because
delivery and
she
then
ate
she's
as
going to eat
Wilhelmina.
the songs. Like, it's going to be so good. The intensity she brings when she acts, especially when she does that kind of love me, hate me type character. Like, she just brings a whole new level of, like, almost like what Diane Carroll brought to Dynasty. Like
Yeah.
that it's classy, it's over the top, it's camp, but it's got that right amount of refined.
It's still
It's
like
like,
avant garde and
it's
like
just beautiful.
yes.
It's almost bigger than words. Like the way that
It's
she
something
approaches,
it's the way that Black women do it.
it's
It
the way
got
that
when they
Black
put
women
the
do.
Black women on it, it's
Hmm.
like that Black girl magic
It
of it.
is.
It's something
That's absolutely
about
what it is.
the aura and the energy in those type of Black women. Like I love bougie Black women. I love it. I love those characters, like
Hmm.
that like the bougie Black women that be kind of like spicy still, because
Hmm.
they gotta be in the world, whatever world they be
Period.
in. Like Wilhelmina had to be that to be, and it's like I feel like because with Black women you gotta be extra that to get to where you going, because you gotta really stand on who you are and
Hmm.
stand on yours. I feel like they be having like a little extra sauce with it, a little extra
Oh,
swag to it, to
yeah.
where it just brings something else to
It's
it.
next level. I'm so excited to see what she does with that. And I feel like
It's gonna eat.
Black women are killing it right now, per usual.
Black women
Um,
are killing it right now,
like per
man.
usual. Like,
It's a shift happening that I'm enjoying
it
watching.
is. I want to say Shikari qualified for the Olympics.
She did
Um,
good.
Killing it. Like, I just don't know if we'll ever have another phenom. I mean, now I will say Coco's doing wonderful. Coco in tennis is still doing her thing. Love that for her. I'm pretty sure she's probably going to the Olympics. I feel like
Yeah.
she's going to the Olympics. I'm like almost 1,000% sure on that.
We
And
have
we
a
are,
black girl swimmer too, right?
yes,
That's in the don't we have
yes,
a black girl
yes,
swimmer?
we do,
Okay.
we do.
I was just saying I'm not making it up, right?
No, yeah, we do. And we have Simone Biles.
And
Oh
we
my
have
gosh.
Simone Biles.
Simone Biles. I don't like, for me growing up and watching sports, I've never been a big sports person, but I would always watch tennis. Like
Yeah.
tennis was like my thing. So I got to watch the Williams sisters in action growing up, like all the time. Always watching Serena and Venus, like loved it. And I came from a family that would play some tennis, so I loved it. But then I ended up getting into the sports I got into. I played a little tennis, but I got into swimming and gymnastics. Those were the things I was in. I was that kid. And that also that led me to being so fascinated by those sports at the Olympics. I would love to
Yeah.
watch. I watched Michael Phelps do his thing quite a few times.
Yeah. I
But
love watching
I
those.
also used to just love watching them folks flip. It used to just give me my
I
life.
used to get on Britney nerves because I literally used to do. You remember? I don't know if you ever seen the episode of Family Guy where Stewie acts like he's in the Olympics and he be like trying to do his. I literally used to do that as a kid. Like I used to get on Britney nerves because every time we watched the Olympics, I would do my little floor routine.
Period.
Like all the girls.
Period.
Because she got a floor routine.
As one does.
Period.
Period.
I'm extra and I play too much, so I was acting a fool.
I
used to
love
do it
it
all the time. I used to love doing my little floor routine. It used to drive her crazy.
I never thought that in my lifetime I would be able to witness the excitement around Black athletes. That's not basketball. That's not football.
Yeah.
Like it was over the Williams sisters. and
Mm-hmm.
to just see how excited Black people are for the Olympics this year, especially to show up for Sha'Carri. And I mean, so many more,
Mm-hmm.
but especially Sha'Carri and Simone, like knowing what they've gone through. Simone, and everything that she's experienced in the past few years, and even qualifying over and over, breaking
Recently,
records
yeah.
over and over again, like being her, like really showing up and showing out every time that she has performed, but also using her platform for good. I'm so excited to see her career continue to blossom, because also
Yeah.
there's this docu-series or
She seems
documentary.
really sweet.
She
Like
does.
very
Very
like
sweet, bubbly energy about her. And
yeah.
I
I
like
saw
it.
an interview that like her and SZA did together and it was so cute. I've never really like watched like a lot of her interviews and stuff. Like I watched the Olympics, but I don't really be getting into people's lives outside. Like
Hmm.
it just depends unless you're just somebody that I personally am like a big
Like,
fan of. Yeah. So it's like when I saw theirs, I was like, it was so cute, and I was like, she just seems so like sweet and like, and you know, you already know they're tiny because they're gymnasts. So I know she's
hmm
probably like 4'11" or something,
right.
if that,
She is
because
tiny.
she might
Yeah.
be shorter than that. But it's like she just seems so cute and sweet. I think that's why people were so protective over her too, because it's just like she just seems so cute and sweet.
I love watching interviews of hers. I've watched a few, and she's always smiling. She's
Mm-hmm.
always so like, her answers are always so thoughtful. You can tell she's not
Mm-hmm.
just talking to hear herself like speak. She's speaking from a very intentional place when she speaks. And I mean, you go through a lot of press training when you're an Olympian. But there's a docu-series or documentary about her about to come out on Netflix called Rising. And I'm excited to see it, because I'm excited to learn more about the kind of person that she is, because the type of athlete that she is phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
and when we have these once in a lifetime phenoms pop up like they do, and I'm not just going to say, I mean, in particular in the Black community, in particular in our community, it's so important that we support them. But like in general, like watching a Michael Phelps, watching a Lance Armstrong, even though he was cheating, watching the Williams sisters, and watching, so many of the
Gabby
basketball greats,
Douglas.
Gabby Douglas, Osaka, Naomi,
The people back in
um,
the day used to be watching FloJo.
period, FloJo, but like
That was before my
What
time.
was her name? Marion Jones, the track star. I think I remember watching her a lot growing up. She also got in a little trouble about using the things and the things. But there were so many athletes worldwide, not just American athletes, so many athletes. And I think, we're
Because the
always
Jamaica team be killing it.
killing it. Usain Bolt, like
Not Cool Runnings though, y'all. Not that Jamaica team.
but I mean, we have, like, the diaspora is so gifted, and not just in, like, of course we're always praised for our athletic performance as natural born athletes, and we're stronger and more muscular and this, that, and the other, whatever. But the reality is that, like, whatever we touch is gold. And I think that
And
it's
those people work hard. Genetics
hard,
or not, they work hard.
so
Okay.
hard, like, to be the best at what they do.
Because
And I think
that gymnastics, to be an Olympic gymnastics, you know the level of training they go through? Like,
it's ridiculous.
mm-mm.
It's
Have a
ridiculous.
life.
They don't have a life. I mean, they have a very little bit of life, very little, because Simone managed to get married, and I'm so happy for her. She managed to have life
Yes.
enough to get married, so I love that for her. But I also, like, I'm just excited for this new season. I know that there's not going to be anything normal about this Olympics, like,
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
there's going to be nothing normal
Black
about it.
people are excited and I love it.
I do
I
too.
love it.
That's the most exciting thing about it for me, is like even just checking in with people and my community being so excited for the Olympics.
Yes.
So, guys, we thank you so much for tuning in to the 50 Chronicles. We just wanted to we just wanted to talk about the culture as we do. And y'all know what we do here. We have conversations that spark conversations. So we will see y'all next week as we continue this season of reviews. We love you. Peace, love, and we'll see y'all next time. Adidas.
I cannot say that fast. I don't know how she do it.